All right, here we go. With my boy Conor Maroney here.
Up.
It's been a long time coming, man. Like
I
it's
know.
been like almost 6 years. It feels like it was yesterday. We were fucking living with the boys at Sacred Heart. So
Oh yeah, I
what's
miss
good,
it.
brother?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so here's the deal. Conor's gonna be our UFC expert for now, because I'm into betting. Randy doesn't know shit about UFC. Lewis doesn't know shit about UFC. So that's why we got Conor here to fucking take it to the promised land. As long as his picks don't suck, he's gonna be here for a while.
I hope you don't.
So here's my first question for you. When did you start getting into UFC? And how do you go about figuring out your picks and whatnot for each event?
Yeah, I got into it like 5 years ago, probably somewhere like that. And like I just like became like totally like hooked on it, like watching it every single weekend. So been watching it like basically every weekend for like 5 years, and like I have the UFC Fight Pass. I get to watch every single one of the fighters' past fights. So basically, like before a fight card, I'll go through like every single one's stats, every single one's footage, shit like that. And
So so it's like a lot of work then. Like you're really like
oh, dude, yeah, it's a lot sometimes looking at a screen, but like it's totally,
yeah.
I love it.
So that's crazy. Like, that makes you like a student of the game almost. You're like, are you like writing shit down as they go? Like, oh, struggles against this or
Oh
that, or
yeah, dude, I'm taking notes, writing everything down. Yeah, for sure.
dude, that's pretty fucking sweet.
I
So
love it.
okay, the main thing. What were
Degenerate
you gonna
gambler
say?
style.
What was that?
Degenerate gambler style.
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, a lot of the guys that listen to our podcast are degenerate gamblers. So we'll see if these picks hit. They're gonna be fucking calling for your name again next week.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we'll see what happens.
Wednesdays I was 9 of 13 on that
Oh,
UFC
nice.
fight night.
I know a lot of favorites won. I know there was a couple dogs. Were you on Kiesa or no?
I was, yeah.
Oh, nice. Good pick.
Yeah.
All right. So the main thing people really want to hear about, obviously, it's McGregor Poirier 2. Obviously, Conor McGregor is going to draw the most attention to any UFC fight out there. Um, and what are your thoughts on that? This is the second time they're fighting. Obviously, the first time they fought, McGregor knocked him out in like under 2 minutes. I think it was. It was a first round knockout.
Yep.
Poirier's a much improved fighter since then. So is Conor. But what do you think is going to happen this time around? What are your expectations?
For this one, basically, I am not a Conor McGregor fanboy. I don't like obsess over him and like love him like all these guys do and wear his t-shirt out and shit like that. But I do think he's gonna win this. Since he got back from that Khabib loss, he's been like totally into MMA again. Like his motivation is there, and a motivated Conor McGregor is like the one of the hardest fighters to beat of any generation of fighters throughout the UFC history. So I am gonna go with McGregor on that. Um, Poirier is not a slouch, though. You know what I mean? Like he's sick. I don't want like I feel like people are just looking at Conor McGregor's name and betting on him just for that reason. But
Well,
like,
just not to cut you off too, but
no,
that's
no.
why, like, for instance, from a gambling perspective, a guy like McGregor is always going to be overpriced to what the true value of the fight is. So you're going to be paying a premium on McGregor just in general, just based off name, just because, Joe Schmo at the bar is going to bet on him just because of that. But so yeah, I know, and McGregor said he's gonna knock him out in under a minute. Last time it took him a minute 30 seconds. Do you think he's full of shit when he says that? Like, what are you expecting? A war? Are you expecting a quick knockout? Like, what are your takes?
McGregor is like your buddy that gets drunk and like starts talking like, "Yo, dude, I can knock him out in one punch," but he actually
Yeah,
means it. Like he can actually do it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so I do see it. Like the longer the fight goes on, the less likely McGregor will win, I think.
You really believe that? Because here's the thing for me though. Like, for instance, he mentioned, he talks about how like LeBron James puts a lot of money into his body, and now he's doing that.
Yeah.
Do you really think, or the better question is, do you think his cardio has improved? Because that's always been his biggest thing. Do you think his cardio is still an issue? And another thing on top of that I realized from Poirier's past fights is he's still throwing bombs late in the fight too. That's one thing about him.
For sure. Yeah, Poirier's got the conditioning like down pat. McGregor's a little iffy, but I do think It used to be like if third round McGregor was like couldn't pick his arms up, but now
Mhm.
he can do 5 rounds, but I do think that the edge of the conditioning goes to Poirier. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
So you're going with McGregor. How do you expect the fight to play out though, like distance wise?
I say within the first 2 rounds.
Really?
Yeah.
So so Poirier's chin, is that something that you think is going to give him issues? Like you think that left hook from Conor or that overhand or whatever?
I don't think it's Poirier's chin. I think it's Connor's power.
Mm-hmm.
Like Poirier fought Dan Hooker, who's in the co-main event 6 months
Yeah.
ago, and he threw and I mean he landed and absorbed 150 strikes. If he did that with Conor McGregor on Saturday, he would lose. He would get knocked out. You can't. I don't think he can take that many strikes from Conor McGregor just because of like his pure punching power.
It's a different animal when you're fighting Conor because he just knocks people's lights out. Like
Yeah.
Cowboy Cerrone, obviously he's not on the same level as Conor, but he's no slouch. And Conor fucking made quick work out of him.
Yeah.
So
He didn't land a
um,
punch. 16 unanswered strikes in that fight. Didn't land a punch.
yeah, it looked like a fucking amateur fighter facing
Yeah, it was like an
the
early
best in the
prelim
world.
fight.
Yeah. Um, okay, so you're going with McGregor. Last question on that fight is
Yeah.
if Poirier was to win, what's it going to take for him to win? And on top of that, um, would you recommend people sprinkling money on Poirier just that he has such great odds, or you really feel comfortable that Conor's going to win the fight?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind people taking money to put on Poirier at all because, like I said, like he's getting disrespected, especially in the odds.
By the odds makers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Like he's minus 300 Connor, and I'm like, no, this should be like a minus like 175. You know what I
that's
mean?
what I was
A
thinking.
lot
Yeah.
closer. But so I would totally put some money on Poirier if you wanted to, for sure. Like, why not? I think and to answer your question about how I see him winning, all of Conor McGregor's losses, all 4 of them, has come by sub. So
Mhm.
I really think that, and Poirier has a decent amount of subs. I think he's got 7 on his record.
Yeah,
So I could see it go that way if Conor gets tired and like a late round sub, something like that.
that's how it would have to go down.
Yeah, I would
And
think so. Or decision.
okay. Yeah, and I mean anything is possible. It's a fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody has a puncher's chance. I remember Poirier against Habib. He had him in a rear naked choke for some time before eventually Habib got out of it
Yeah.
and eventually won the fight. So he can submit. I agree with you though. I do think Conor he's always been good, but I think now he's taken his game to that next level and he's even better. He's more conditioned. He's more locked in. He's serious. Also Conor talks himself up more than anybody, so it's very easy to feel that way. And I understand why he is overpriced. I do expect him to win. I expect him to win by knockout. I don't know if it's going to happen in under a minute 30 seconds. Maybe, like you said, middle second round, third round, whatever. I was planning to put some money on this fight, but I'm not sure if I'm going to. Just because fucking Conor is overpriced, and in the long run, if you continuously bet overpriced guys, at some point you're gonna lose. But before I ramble on too much, I agree with you. I think Conor wins the fight. I think he wins by knockout. Um, so that's what we got for there. Anything else just to wrap that up, or
No,
are
I
you
think
good
we
there?
covered it all. That's pretty good.
All
Both
right. So
yeah.
so the next fight that I think people will be most interested in, this will be the last fight we break down, other than his picks after this. Dan Hooker against UFC newcomer Michael Chandler. Did I say his name right? Michael Chandler?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so he was like a star in Bellator.
Yep, former
Um,
lightweight champion.
okay, so I'll let you take the floor from there. What do you expect in this fight? Tell us a little bit about Michael Chandler. Tell us a little bit about Dan Hooker, who I'm a big fan of. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure. So, like you said, Chandler's making his UFC debut. He was fought in Bellator. He fought in a couple of other companies like that. He became the Bellator champion at 155 in 2016. Since then, he's won and he's lost the belt. Obviously, he's won and lost a couple, but he's basically like he was a Division 1 wrestler, so he is a heavy wrestler and also like has very heavy hands. And Dan Hooker, on the other hand, is just like Dan Hooker has never had a boring fight in his life, I think. Every
Mm-hmm.
single fight that he has is like, oh, that's candidate for fight of the year next year. Never
So yeah, just to break you off, just to fucking cut in here. There's gonna be fireworks in this fight. Anytime Dan Hooker is in a fight, there is going to be fucking fireworks. His nickname is the Hangman. I fucking love it. I think it's one of the dopest nicknames in the fucking sport. But yeah, dude, his last couple fights, you have Paul Felder, fucking fireworks.
I loved that fight.
Amazing fight. Amazing fight. Dustin Poirier, which he lost. Was it unanimous decision or split?
It was unanimous decision, 3 rounds to 2, I believe.
But still, it was a 5-round fucking war. Yeah. Before that, he fought the dude from Long Island. What the fuck is his name? Ally Quinta. Beat the brakes off him. I mean, this guy is in fucking wars. He is going to move forward and fucking throw bombs, and he's going to take bombs. So, yeah, but here we go now. Back to what we were saying about Hooker versus Chandler. What do you expect in this fight, and where are you leaning?
At first, I was leaning towards Hooker, but right now, my pick is Michael Chandler. I think there's a lot of pressure on Michael Chandler right now. So, like, I think he's going to go out there and play it really safe and really utilize his wrestling early on. Try to go for takedowns because you want to basically. He's got the reach disadvantage. Hooker's got a little bit of a reach advantage on him, and is one of the best strikers in the division. So, like, he's going to want to close the distance and like really use his wrestling early on. And I think he's the underdog right now.
Yeah, it's very close odds though. It's like close to a pick'em, which was surprising to me. I didn't know much about Chandler going into this fight, and I still really don't. And I've watched a lot of Dan Hooker. He's a fan favorite in the UFC because of the style of his fights. So that kind of tells me he's a little overpriced naturally, and the fact that Chandler is that close in odds. He's like plus 105. So a little bit, you get a little bit more bang for your buck with him. But that basically tells me that they have very high opinions of this guy as a fighter. And I've never watched any of his fights. But if you're telling me he's a world-class wrestler and he's got heavy hands, I mean, that's a tough matchup for anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And to talk about his resume a little bit, he's beat like UFC caliber guys, UFC greats that moved over to Bellator, like Benson Henderson, Brett Primus, just to name a few. Patrick E. Pitbull. I don't know if you know him. He's some crazy.
I don't know any of those fucking guys, but I guarantee someone listening, a couple of our boys that are listening to this will know everybody you just named. Because I'll say this, some of the boys that'll listen to this, they're big UFC guys, and they've been watching it a lot longer than I have and are a lot more knowledgeable of it than I am. So they'll know exactly who the fuck you're talking about. So you're going with Chandler, though. You think it's going to be a decision? Is that what you're going with? Or are you going with sub or what?
I could see TKO on the ground, like maybe like 3rd round, something like that. But out decision, play it safe maybe. I really think that he might put on a little bit of a boring performance.
Okay, so you could see, for instance, to compare, like, for instance, Kamaru Usman's performance against Masvidal. Boring fucking fight, but he beat the shit out of him, basically, for 5 rounds. Foot stomps shit. So you're saying the game plan is going to be wrestle, wear him down a little bit, land a couple strikes here and there, but really control the ground game.
Exactly. That's what he's going to do. Yeah, he cannot stand with him. I wouldn't recommend it. He's too tough, Hooker.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, anybody that's watched a little bit of Dan Hooker will know this man is down to just throw hands for, 15 minutes, 25 minutes, doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's got a chin and a half.
Yeah, great fighter, and he fights in a great gym with Adesanya and Volkanovski. Those guys
are City Kickboxing, right?
Yep. All right, so last question here, because like I said, I know we have listeners with short attention spans, so they're going to fucking tune us out any minute here.
I got you.
For our degenerates here that want action, that are looking for fucking action, give us a few picks here to wrap it out here.
Okay. I really like Khalil Roundtree versus Marcin Prachnio. Prachnio is 0-3 in his UFC career, and Khalil Roundtree is just a KO artist. So you're putting up a KO artist against a guy that has a questionable chin. He got KO'd in his last 3 fights, all within the first round. So I'm pretty sure Khalil Roundtree can get the work done early on against Marcin Prachnio. I feel actually kind of bad for Marcin Prachnio. They kind of like fed him to the wolves, man.
Maybe they're trying to build up Roundtree a little bit there.
Yeah, exactly. And it shows in the odds too. Right? He's a massive favorite.
Okay, how big are we looking? Oh, you're gonna have to lay some heavy juice. You're gonna have to put Roundtree in a fucking parlay or something.
Yeah,
Minus 375. So maybe, but here's it's
that's
good
a
that you
lot.
brought that up. You can parlay, if you like McGregor, if you're a McGregor fan, you can parlay Roundtree with McGregor, get close to even odds on that. Would you recommend that?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so that's one. You like Roundtree. Who else do you like?
If you want an underdog, I like Pena versus McMahon. Juliana.
Okay, what's that? I don't know anything about it, so fill me in.
Yeah, it's let me get the thing right here actually.
Juliana Pena. So it's a women's fight.
It's a women's fight. It's a bantamweight. It's 135. And Sarah McMahon is 40 years old. She hasn't fought in a year. And Juliana Pena just came back from a 2-year layoff. And she's fighting. She came back and beat the crap out of this girl. And now she's fighting Sarah McMahon. Sarah McMahon's just been around so long. Like I said, she's 40 years old and has been in the UFC since, I don't know, probably close to that time, like 10 years.
So she's taking a lot of damage.
A lot of damage. 40 years old. She has the advantage. She has the disadvantage in all the striking stats, McMahon, and she is the. I don't see her winning this. I see her kind of maybe getting subbed or something.
Okay.
That's a pretty good underdog.
Yeah, those are close to even. I mean, listen, I'm not saying you're giving out fucking the heaviest price because you gave out Chandler, who's an underdog. You're giving out Pena. And you gave out a good parlay opportunity. Is there anything else that you like? Any other picks? Don't worry about the odds.
The craziest thing we talked about earlier. I have this podcast with my buddy, and I don't look at the odds at all before I do the research because
I agree with that. That's actually a very smart way to do it.
Yeah, I refuse to look at it, so I'm doing it with my buddy, and I picked this one. I picked Nick Lentz over Movsar Evloev. It's like an early prelim fight on this card. And I think Nick Lentz is a plus 500 in this.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
It may have came down a bit. It's plus 420 right now, but that's good bang for your buck, man.
Yeah, I had no idea. He took Evloev, but I really like Nick Lentz. I thought it'd be a lot closer than that when I took the pick, and I'm still gonna go with him, honestly.
So what makes you like Nick Lentz though? Before looking at the odds and real quick, since I want to.
Yeah, Evloev only has 2 fights in his UFC career. He's brand new to the sport, kind of one-sided, really good striker. Nick Lentz, on the other hand, has been in the UFC for a long time vet, and he really stresses grappling. And he's pretty good standing up too. And he's fighting top level competition. So he's really taking a bump down because this guy's not even ranked, Evloev. He's brand new. And a couple of fights ago, he was fighting Charles Oliveira, Nick Lentz. And if people don't know who he is, he's
next in line for a title shot.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought he was getting disrespected on that line too.
Okay.
500. So I'm actually going to go with him. That's a
pick. You're posting that in here. That's a pick.
Hey, that's my pick. That's what I'm going with on my podcast. So
anything else?
Nah, man. I think that's it.
Let's name drop your podcast. So if anybody wants to check you out and hear the whole thing.
Yeah. NoBrainerMMA on all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Oh, you guys are on IG. I'm gonna have to follow you from the Fry Guys account so we can have each other on that too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Do you guys have a Twitter yet?
Yeah. It's Fried Guys Pod, I believe, on Twitter.
Oh, nice. I gotta follow that too.
Yeah. If anything, I'll throw you. I think I followed you guys from my main account. I'll throw you a follow from the Fried Guys as well.
Awesome.
But all right, so that's pretty much it. He gave his picks. I think there's a good opportunity there. I really like the idea of a parlay between Roundtree and McGregor. I like the fact he gave out a couple underdogs. Thanks for the insight, my man. And as long as you keep on winning, we'll keep getting you back on as more UFC events come up, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it was a blast. I loved it. You guys are awesome too. I've got to you guys kill it on social media. Unbelievable.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, we're grinding. We're trying to see how this thing goes.
Yeah, you got it, man. It was awesome.